Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I thought I'd just do a voiceover and show you the first 3 days that I've done on my new split, which is actually the last 3 days, but minor details. So first day, as you can see, was deadlifts, and I shot for 3 reps and did 3 sets. It moved pretty well, definitely just sort of feeling out the weights at the moment, so I'm looking to see in this new program what weights I can do and then how that affects me in my next days. So with deadlifts, it's a really big consideration for me that I'm benching the following day. So I stuck nice and conservative with 100 kilos and I only did 3 sets of 3 because I really find a bit of a problem with benching the day after deadlifts if I've absolutely toasted my back. So while they weren't the cleanest reps, they definitely felt difficult. They look pretty good and felt amazing. So my back hasn't been sore at all. I didn't have any problems benching, so could go heavier and really focus on driving out those reps and techniques and bracing myself. So one thing I really want to make sure that I do in deadlifts, looking at the speed in which I move the bar off the ground, is really being able to push myself, because they felt way slower and harder than what they look. So I'm definitely going to be bumping up the weight and challenging myself more to really dig deep in that initial phase, pulling the bar off the ground. And yeah, I reckon I could seriously shock myself. The next exercise was pendlay rows, and unlike the deadlifts where I'm really focusing on trying to push through the rep, here I'm really wanting to make sure that it's flying off the ground and I'm really not driving much force from my feet, because I am chronic for trying to turn it into like a really mini deadlift right at the beginning of the exercise, or towards right at the top of the exercise. So I'm really trying to focus on keeping my body as still as possible and just using my back to drive the power. This third set was definitely, I think, one of my best. Definitely moved so much faster, but overall I was happy with not having done them for about 6 to 8 months, how they moved. But yeah, this is a 6x3 for speed work. Nice and light, really focusing on just getting the movement down. So you can see there on that second rep there, I moved my body quite a bit and a little bit less in that third one. This is my last set, and I tried to change the angle for you guys, but yeah, it's not taxing on the muscles when you're doing these, but really concentrating on that form. So after the speed work, I moved on to some standard sort of muscle building work. This was I think it was a 3x10. I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see it, but yeah, this is much more about now doing that strong repetitive motion and really trying to build the muscle which will help in all of my big lifts, deadlifts, squats, and even bench to an extent. And then again, moving on to another row. So it was a big back day here. I did 2 sets of 15. I think it was 15 kilos. But yeah, really again, focusing on not driving through my legs, keeping that torso pretty straight and making sure that my shoulder blade's coming all the way back. And that's just something that I'm wanting to really focus on, because that's going to help keep my shoulders back in those heavy deadlifts when I start to get heavier in the next coming weeks. So now rowing motions are pretty much done. I've got 1 shoulder exercise in this workout, and that's just standard overhead press. I do like the barbell presses, and it's something that I've really picked out of 531 that I've gotten better at and I enjoy a bit more. So here I'm just looking at doing nice smooth reps, and my shoulders definitely were quite burnt out from the day before of doing the press day of 531. So felt it, but felt good. Then moved on to a close grip lat pull down, and this I really do like to help with the sort of top part, the insertion part of the lats, and that's just my personal preference. I do a lot of wide grip and standard pull-ups, so close grip is a good variation. And then I moved on to just some upright rows, pretty standard for me, and then just straight into some lat raises. So that was essentially my deadlift day, so basically back and shoulders tacked on to deadlifts. So now it's bench day. I have really fallen in love with this exercise. It's something that I did at another gym, just because the setup was good. And then while it was a little bit different because where the bar is racked isn't quite as high, just because the lip on the J hooks, I really do love how the resistance band bench press really helps me activate my pecs, and I really felt it in this next set. I did a 3x10, just at 40 kilos, but you'll see the movement of how quick it is, especially in the first 5 or so reps, by pushing through the resistance curve with the resistance band. It really made that last sort of push in the last half of the movement way easier, having that done before this set. So while my muscles burnt out quite quickly, it really did change how my muscles were activated and like ready for the load, and definitely something that I struggle with because that last portion of the rep is always my sticking point. That was it for bench. It was a nice light bench day. My Friday bench day is actually going to be the lightest, so then I'm moving into some back and a bit more chest, but yeah, it's an overall upper body workout. So here we have a lat pull, and unlike yesterday, I didn't do a close grip. I've gone wide to really hit the lats at a different angle, and I'm really also trying to get my lower traps activating. Then I moved into a close grip bench press, again trying to focus on my pecs because I am tricep dominant. So while this is a tricep exercise, I'm still thinking about controlling the movement with my chest muscles. Then some more back, which is single arm rowing, and I use this to really balance out any sort of muscular dominance. So I make sure that around my shoulder issue, which is just a little bit of tightness, I'm balancing out the muscles and not relying on one side more than the other. So throwing in some single arm movements is really good for that. And then I went into a pull down single arm again, and that again helps me with those imbalances and just general shoulder health. Pullovers were then the last back exercise, and again, just one of my favorites that I like to throw in to activate the lats in a different way. They're definitely a muscle that I feel is quite weak compared to my other lifts like squats and deadlifts and things. So I definitely want to make sure that I'm giving them a good amount of volume throughout my workout. And then the final movement was just a machine shoulder press to help burn out my shoulders even more. As you can see, the frequency in which I'm hitting my muscles is already quite high, and that'll be clearer through more training vlogs where you see where I'm getting all of my volume in and when I'm doing all my sets. And then moving on to squat Saturday. This is a lighter squat day than the one I have earlier in the week, which is a Tuesday from memory. And here I'm really focusing on speed work. Now, I have to admit, I'm really not the most explosive person. I struggle with speed work in slightly heavier weights and definitely in compound exercises. So something that I've taken away from this and I wrote in my training journal is that I really want to focus on a clean technique throughout all my lifts here. So I think my third set was pretty good, but here you'll see that my hips tend to shoot up before my chest follows. So it's really obvious, I think in my last rep here, and you'll see my hips pop up and then my shoulders come with that movement. So I really focused throughout the 6 sets of 3 that I was trying to keep that chest up, really focus on those hips not driving the movement, but actually driving through, in a way, my knees. And then also making sure that I was taking a breath and bracing for each rep after each rep. So a couple times I would do my first and second reps, and then I would take another breath, re-brace my back, and then drop down to that third rep. And I really noticed that my second reps suffered for it. So in my final 2 or 3 sets, I really focused on a deep breath, brace my core and my back before dropping into each rep. And that's just something that, again, helped me with my technique. So I go a little bit smoother, as you can see. My hips aren't shooting up as much already. And it's actually a really good thing that I like from recording my sessions. So even if you're not someone who wants to pop it on YouTube or Instagram or anything, I could just strongly recommend that popping your phone down, even just for a couple sets, so you can check your form, would be awesome. So if there's a way that you can jig your phone up, or if you happen to have a camera, bring it along, and yeah, just check your form as you go, because it's absolutely amazing. You can get so much automatic feedback and make those changes instantly. So the next exercise you're going to see is a hip thrust, and this is just to really get my glute activation going, because it's something that I definitely don't have tons of in my deadlifts and squats because I'm quad dominant. So I like to just add this on to really focus on building that mind-muscle connection, and burning it out, building muscle is always good because I'm going to get stronger for it, since they're a huge muscle group to hit. So here I'm really focusing on making sure I'm centered in the bar, hands evenly apart. I place the webbing of my thumb and index finger on the knurling, and then really squeezing at the top with a nice consistent rhythm to this. And that just avoids any sort of problems with the back. Moving on to single leg extensions. Now normally I would do leg press, but that one was busy. So I did it out of order, and I did the leg extension first, which absolutely toasted my legs for leg press, but minor details. Yeah, so I'm doing single leg again to make sure that I'm not having any muscular imbalances. I do have an old knee injury from soccer, so while that kind of annoys me sometimes, I've been pretty good at having my legs evenly distribute force. So I just make sure that I keep doing that by throwing in these single leg exercises at time to time. Then, like I said, we're doing leg press. Now here I really focused, especially since I'd already done leg extension, I really focused on driving through my heels, but I was mainly using my hamstrings and glutes to get this movement done. So my feet are slightly higher on the leg press, not all the way at the top, but definitely a little bit higher, and burning out those hamstrings a little bit more with some quad activation, of course, but making it a less quad dominant exercise. Then moving straight into the superset with leg press calf raises. I have baby calves and I really don't need to grow them, but they do help in squats, so why not? They're a muscle group to hit and it doesn't really take that much out of me, so I threw them in and I don't mind them. Then hitting those hamstrings even more, I went into a dumbbell deadlift, not stiff-legged or anything, but really focusing on that range of motion and squeeze at the top. This is something that I like to do just to really help with that push through the initial part of the deadlift, because it is a slight deficit in compared to a barbell deadlift. And I'm hoping that by going heavier with these, I'll be able to push through my feet a little bit more intuitively when I get to that barbell deadlift as well. And then the very last exercise of this session and this whole training vlog was a lying hamstring curl. This is honestly one of my least favorite exercises. I much prefer the seated hamstring curl, even though I hate doing hamstring curls in general, but this is all the gym has. So you're going to be seeing a lot of lying hamstring curl, but it is something that I absolutely need. It's the only one that hits the bicep femoris, and I do it anyway because I have to. So I hope you got something out of this video, guys. It's the last 3 days of my new training program for my 6-day split. I just thought I'd finish off this week going through it, even though I started with continuing with my 5-3-1, but now I need a change. I've got 6 weeks holiday. I don't really want to only train 4 days a week. I want to train 6, and I've just been totally off the mark, as mentioned in my last video. So yeah, starting fresh, doing a bit more auto-regulated numbers, and feeling really good for it. So I will let you know how this goes, but that's the whole point of this training log. So gonna keep that going, and hopefully you guys do get some cool information out of it, and you can take away things for your own training or be inspired and motivated to start training. If you have any comments, do put them down below. Otherwise, like my channel if you like these training videos, and subscribe for more content that's going to be coming out.